Good morning, this is Faith at Faith and Books, and it's a Tag Tuesday. So I'm going to do a tag called the Supermarket Shopping Book Tag. And I was tagged by Linda Jo Martin, the book lady, so thank you. And it was originally done by Jason at Byways and Bookland. And I had seen it going around. I'm really behind on watching my YouTube videos because my online time tends to be listening to talks on things rather than watching videos. But so I've got to catch up. But but I did see Linda Jo Martin's, and then I went back and I looked at Jason's. So anyway, so I'll do this real quick. So let's see. So the first prompt is list. Before going book shopping, including virtually, do you have a list? And I don't usually. The only time I might have a list, it would be like a partial list, is if I was shopping for books to give somebody and I wanted to have their titles with me. But usually I might have a title or an author in the back of my head when I go shopping, but usually no. I don't usually do lists. Prompt number 2, fruit and vegetables, or fruit and veg. Good for the body and mind. Recommend a book you felt improved your physical/mental health. And I had trouble coming up with something, but I wound up picking this book, The New Health Rules. And the reason I did is that if you watched my videos on the anti-inflammatory diet, you know that my daughter got really ill and we wound up going to a nutritionist, and we learned a lot about eating well. And so after we had started this new diet and trying to eat better to improve her health, and I went along with it, and it wound up improving my health, I happened to just impulse buy this at a bookstore. I don't know where I was, and I really like it. It's very pithy, and it just gives you basic principles for eating. So this is something, Eat the Colors of the Rainbow. This is something the nutritionists told us. Buy organic and local. So there's a lot of sugar is poison. So there's a lot in here that we wound up adapting. Now, we couldn't do the raw nuts thing because my daughter's allergic to tree nuts. We did break up with bread. We dropped gluten. There's a whole, I won't go into it now, but anyway, there's so much of soy. We stopped eating soy. So anyway, there's much of this book that the nutritionist told us. Now, I have not adopted every single thing from this book. Some of it's a little bit, I never got into the neti pot. I don't do yoga, although I do like to do stretching exercises. But there's a lot in this book that makes sense to me, and I really like it, and it's inspiring to just pick up and thumb through. It's pretty, it's got these beautiful photographs, and The New Health Rules. I like that book. Okay, next one, prompt number 3, tinned goods. Regardless of the label on the can, the contents are all too often bland. What's your tin can genre? So I watched both Linda Jo's and Jason's, and I still don't quite understand this prompt. I don't know, I like zoned out or something, I don't know. But I think I'm just gonna say some genres that just don't do it for me. They just aren't genres that appeal to me. And they're kind of surprising because you wouldn't think they were bland, but for some reason for me they aren't. One of them is a fantasy genre. It isn't that I don't sometimes read fantasy, but most of the time it just doesn't intrigue me very much. And my problem with it is I feel like the author has so much freedom to just make stuff up, that there's not this challenge that I think like historical fiction they don't have the same limitations. So fantasy to me, I find it kind of boring. It's weird. I know it's weird. And the other thing is, I'm always kind of jealous when I watch Bill Ruttenberg's channel and he talks about how much he loves John Grisham and I don't know what the other authors are, but I've read one Grisham, I think. I've read one Ludlum. Who's the guy that wrote Jurassic Park? I don't know, just those types of books. I'll read one by the author and then I think, okay, been there, done that. I don't have any urge to, I don't know, things that are supposed to be page turners often I find kind of formulaic, like the Ludlum book. I forget what I read, the title of it, but the plot was so convoluted, I had no idea what was going on. But anyway, those kind of books just don't do it for me. I kind of wish they did because so many people enjoy them, and I feel kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm not connecting with people, and I wish I could. But so those genres are, I guess, my tinned goods that are kind of just don't appeal to me. Prompt 4 is meat or fish counter prepared by a skilled butcher, fishmonger. Fishmonger. Americans don't say fishmonger. That seems like such an Irish word to me. Just how you want it. Tell us about a book that you felt was written just for you. And I really couldn't think of anything. But then I just went into my study and looked through books to see if I could find ones that fit these prompts. And I picked out this one, Riches for the Poor by Earl Shores. And the reason why I picked this out is because as a homeschooler, I got really into classical education. I'm really intrigued by it. And I'm slowly reading more, works that are considered classical, but I'm nowhere near accomplished in that regard. But I became really enamored with the whole idea of it. And so when I discovered this author, and he also wrote, what was the other book that he wrote that was so... Anyway, Earl Shores developed this program for teaching the humanities, which is another way of saying the classics, to the poor, to give them the education that maybe they didn't get. And it's about being human rather than being skilled or trained. It's about thinking. It's about your worldview. It's about plumbing the depths of these deep questions we have as humans. And the poor often don't get that. And it's something that lifts you up. You live a deeper, richer life because of it. And so riches for the poor. So he developed this course. He went into prisons and taught it. He got all these professors from universities to volunteer for a year and teach these courses in poor neighborhoods and prisons, all sorts of places, and so this book combined because I worked for the public defenders a long time ago, and I come from a family that was very into social justice kind of stuff, and so this combines my love of classical learning with the idea that we should be lifting up the poor. So I highly recommend reading things by Earl Shores if you're into that sort of thing. So this book kind of combined two sort of disparate interests of mine into one thing. So Riches for the Poor, the Clemente Course in the Humanities by Earl Shores. That fit prompt number 4. Okay, prompt number 5, Baked Goods. I don't have a book to hold up for this. It says, bread is a staple for many around the world. I stopped eating bread. Who is an author you can easily digest at any time of the day? I can't easily digest bread. But anyway, I get the gist of the prompt, and I just picked out P.G. Wodehouse. I always want to say Wodehouse, but it's Wodehouse, because he's so funny, and he's such a delightful escape. And so I'm going to say, I don't have somewhere in the house we have this thick collection of his stories, but I didn't find it. So that would be my baked goods, P.G. Wodehouse. 6, chilled section. See, we don't say chilled section here. We say the refrigerated section, maybe. Recommend a cool new author or book you recently discovered. And again, I don't have the books with me, and I thought of 2. One in the spiritual realm. There's a priest, a French priest called Father Jacques Philippe, and I read a book by him. The title was something to do with the Holy Spirit. Anyway, it was a slender book, but it was so inspirational and true and intelligent and pithy and just, I want to read more by him. So I was really excited to discover him. And the other one I just mentioned before in another tag, it was Patrick Leigh Fermor, who wrote that book about walking from across Europe right before World War II. And he wrote other travel books, and I really, really want to read him because I just found his writing magnificent. So that would be prompt number 6. Prompt number 7, frozen section. Tell us about a book that gave you the shivers. So I came up looking through my shelves. I came up with 3. I don't really read horror or anything like that, but I just thought I would come. I just picked out books that did, I was like really gripped by it and on the edge of my seat because of something so strange or disturbing in them. The first one was this one. The Stranger in the Woods. This is about a guy who went and lived off in the woods for years. It was like almost like a couple of decades. And he survived. He didn't want to talk to any other, he had mental issues. He didn't want to talk to any other humans, so he lived off in the woods by himself, and he would go and he would steal from these camps. I think it was up in Maine. These camps for the disadvantaged. He would go in and steal their food and stuff. So he lived by theft, and he lived off in the woods, and he created like this sort of camouflaged campsite where he lived even through the winter without fire in Maine. Really strange and disturbing book. I found it very gripping. Another one that I read a long time ago, it wasn't a long time ago. It was a fairly new book, but I don't know how many years ago. But, it says Borders. I haven't been to a Borders in ages. So, The Lost City of Z, which recounts this travel into the Amazon and what happened. The people never returned. Very, very gripping. And then another one, The Life of Pi, with the whole being stranded on the boat with the tiger and the whole bizarre ending of it. I really love this book. I really, really love this book. So that was kind of something that gave me shivers. Prompt number 8 is Beer, Wines, and Spirits. Name one of the first books you read that made you feel like an adult. I couldn't think of any. I really couldn't. I was such a mix of children's book and adult books from the beginning. I just couldn't come up with an answer to that one. Number 9, Sweets and Candy. What genre or / author is your indulgence when you need a little treat read? I always say Georgette Hare, so I thought I'd say something different. I really like children's literature, beautiful children's literature, or middle grade books. I enjoyed middle grade marks. So I think that's sort of I'll say that for my Sweets and Candy, just well-written children's novels and middle grade books. Let's see. Number 10, Magazine Stand. If you read magazines, journals regularly, share some titles with us. So I used to get magazines, and I don't anymore. I used to get one on Chesterton, G.K. Chesterton, and I can't remember others that I used to get. Now I'm more likely to just get a cooking magazine when I'm checking out at the grocery store. I might see one that has, paleo recipes in it or something like that, and I might get one of those. I really like Mother Earth News because I'm a frustrated homesteader. So every once in a while, if I'm someplace where I see that, I might pick that up to read. And the only magazine that I personally have a subscription to, now my husband has ones for other things, but is this one, which is this journal. It has great art on it. It's the Evangelization Culture, the Journal of the Word on Fire Institute, which is this Catholic organization I joined. And it's really gorgeous. The thing is, they're doing one on movies because they're talking about the culture. The thing is, I don't really, even though it's really, really beautiful, I haven't yet read it. If for some reason I don't find the articles as compelling as I thought I would. I don't know why. But it is a gorgeous magazine. So I am going to get around to reading it eventually. Um, and that's it. The last one is checkout, time to go and unpack, tag some shoppers on their way in. Since I haven't been keeping up on tags and watching videos, I don't know who's been tagged before. So go ahead and tag yourself if you want to do this. Or you know who will tag Spontaneous Reader. I'm tagging Spontaneous Reader. Yeah, you try this one. And I will put the links to the Book Lady and Byways and Bookland below. And it's already 15 minutes, so I'm going to say goodbye. Have a good day. Bye.